Hello, I'm Brian. I've been involved, for those of you who don't know me, I've been involved in NFM now for about 8 months-ish, maybe in some change. Um, I am also, for those of you who are aware of Francisco's CTS startup, I'm also involved with he and Kaka and others that are on this call in that as well. Um, I'm moderating this morning, not by any particular reason other than the fact that I'm around a lot and Francisco asked me to. So I just posted in the chat that if you're new to NFM and you feel like posting a brief introduction to yourself, we don't want to put everybody on the spot. Not everybody likes speaking on camera. So if you want to come off mute and introduce yourself, you can do that. But if you'd rather just put something short in the chat, maybe with your LinkedIn link, a lot of people do that, but there's no obligation to do that. Don't feel like you have to. But we just want to honor the fact that we've got a lot of people that are supposed to be on the call today, and many of them may be new. And part of this convergence is getting to know each other and making more connections. So feel free to do that if you'd like. Today we have a couple of areas of business to cover, some of which is a follow-up to our last meeting, where we kind of made an adjustment to our operating model and the way that we communicate with each other, the way that we ratify things. So kind of the first thing we're going to do today, before we get into other members who want to address the group and talk about proposals and things, is I'm going to let Francisco talk about that. But I wanted to kind of give you a sense of the agenda first before we jumped into that. So he's going to propose some changes to how we operate. Then we're going to talk to some other folks that have proposals to make. And then we're going to open it up to get thoughts, reactions, feedback, if we have time, hopefully, from everybody else. And it may be that during the course of today's conversation, it'll spark something for you, and you may have questions. So we want to make sure that we leave some time for that. So with that said, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Francisco, and we'll go through the first part of our agenda with him. Thank you. Francisco? Francisco, are you still stuck doing admissions?
You're muted.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm back here. Yeah, I was just sharing the link via email with the people in the community.
Oh, great.
Great. I had updated the description on the invite, but I did not include the link. I see the link because there is a Google invite. There is a section for that, but if you're not using Google, or if you have a different format, it's possible that the Zoom link was not very visible. So, yep. Well,
also, Alessandra, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Francisco, but Alessandra, it looks like you posted a Zoom link in when you intended to post your LinkedIn. So
yeah, I did. I'm crushing it.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, back to you, Francisco.
Yeah, now we're starting to have more people joining now. So yeah, basically after the last convergence, I've been reflecting and discussing with different members on what's the best approach to move forward, learning from the previous experiences, right? So what I wanted to propose today actually is using the network convergences themselves to submit and ratify proposals in real time using the poll app within Zoom, right? And then if a project gets ratified, it will be reflected on the Network First Manifesto website, and anybody can join that project. And the project catalyst is fully responsible and accountable for what happens in that project. So that way we can move to a more decentralized setup where nobody has to manage a centralized workspace, but anybody can decide basically on the format and the cadence and the different aspects of their own project. That's kind of like the main idea that I wanted to propose, and I might repeat it later if there are more people joining, because I see there are people joining right now. But yeah, I wanted to hear your thoughts and and see basically if you have any alternative ideas or any feedback. Does the approach make sense? Like the logistics of it at least. We basically like sharing a poll up here, proposing a certain project. If it reaches the quorum of 25 votes, with a majority of 4 votes, then it would be automatically ratified, basically. This is what before we're doing through the proposal link. Right.
I think one of the things that we found as a maybe a shortcoming of Slack is that we had a relatively small number of highly active people on it, but the rest of the 800 or so members that we had, I think, found it a little bit cumbersome to follow everything that was going on. If you had the time for it, it was kind of a rich experience, but if you didn't have the time for it, it was extremely kind of difficult to filter and know what to be looking at, the way that the tree kind of sprung up. So the emphasis now is to say, let's focus engagement where we need it the most within projects, right? So that's where the bulk of the conversation happened on Slack anyway. So that's we're kind of following in on that pattern. If people want to use, they can use. If the project leaders want to use Slack, then go ahead and do that. If they want to use some other tool, they can go ahead and do that. But it avoids having one person stuck with maintaining this, sort of what becomes very quickly a monstrous task of managing Slack, and trying to keep the conversation sort of orderly and accessible to all of the people that are not following it minute by minute. Mm-hmm. So we're shifting. The idea is to shift more of that kind of conversation to here, to the convergence, and really try to encourage everybody to come to the convergences so that they hear the important things that the entire community needs to absorb. So I just wanted to expand on that a little, Francisco. I hope that's okay.
Yeah. Thank you. And another thing, because I see there are people that are receiving now the Zoom link, and maybe because we had the quorum of 25 people, would it make sense to, because I know that Miguel wanted to share the project from Odilon, the Network First project, maybe we can have that presentation first, and then towards the end, we can submit the proposal along with any proposals for any projects that anybody wants to launch. Does it make sense? Because that way we'll make sure that as many people as possible can participate in the poll towards the end of the meeting. Of the conversion.
Hey, we're nothing if we're not flexible here. That's the whole kind of point of our the way that we've set ourselves up to be agile. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and hear from Miguel? Miguel, you want to talk about what's going on with that pilot?
Hello, everyone. We have here Dan and José from Odilon. I will be kind of a simultaneous translator because their English is not so good, but they can handle themselves in Portuguese and Spanish. But probably I'll do the translation, and we'll tell what were the perceptions in applying the Network First pilot in the company. I have a small presentation that they made, and I have translated. We're here from Brazil. The project was based in Brazil. And basically, what Odilon is a company that has public transportation, and their shared service centers is working in a decentralized, more like a holacracy model. And we had some findings here in the project. So, José, if you want to add something, or please let me know, and I translate it. Se vocês quiserem falar alguma coisa, vocês me contam aí, a gente vai avançando.
Ok. Pode seguir, Miguel.
Joia. So the idea here was to do. They found that it was a strong fit between the Network First Manifesto, because they were already experimenting working with a decentralized organization, and the moderation was organic. And now, in their perception, they are in the cohering phase of the 8C, the model that Francisco might detail afterwards when we move forward with the meeting and the voting. And the idea, one of the ideas, the main idea that became a theme for the project was the benefits intelligence. They have a benefit structure for the employees, and they want to make sure that not only it was cost effective, but people were using the benefits in a intelligent way. So basically, we have a O&A model first. We have 106 participants, and their network, it's a tight network. We don't have a lot of silos. We have some isolated peripheral employees there. And one of the challenges that we found, and we were discussing with José, Dan, and Marcela, which is from also from the group that participated, is that besides working with, despite working with a decentralized model, the tendency that we have as human beings to centralize and work in a hierarchical way, it's challenging and will be challenging for the next Network First pilots. And they are evolving a lot in that issue, but still we have behaviors that are centralized, and we discussed that. Then afterwards, the O&A, the active O&A survey, we chose a group to participate with the O8C, the NFM model applied to projects. So basically, we have this team here, and Dan is from this team. He's one of the persons from this team. José is a person that works more like a supervisor of the program and checking if they were on the right path. Then they use Slack for voting, and the benefits project one. Since it was a big project, we had a lot of sub initiatives that were proposed in emerging organic way from the participants, from the 8 participants. So basically, the idea was to drive awareness and activation of the benefits, turning employees active in the platform, and a better fitting benefits portfolio, higher usage, stronger return on investment. Basically, was the expected outcome of the project, and we have the leadership and engagement pod involved in the project. As the great from the great project, 8 initiatives emerged, and one thing that's interesting that it emerged organically through the participants from the project. The thing that we have as a challenge on the NFM model is to register the initiatives on Slack. So basically, the interactions were more decentralized, but the challenge for them was to register the initiatives, because that came not from them, the manager, but from the employees. So basically, that's one of the key data points. They have from the initiative being able to map some of the data from the benefits. So just to, I will not come into detail from the results of the business results of the project, but we have some data that was able to be revealed using the initiatives that they defined earlier. And the barrier is operational, not perceived value from the employees in using the benefits. And the challenge was to increase the participation of the employees on the benefit program. So here you have an example of a catalyst from the sub-initiative of the project and how the team enrolled on the project. So the initial proposal came from the group. Some of the initiatives came also from the group, and the challenge was documenting the contribution and making the contribution visible, and how each step emerged from the in a decentralized way. And for the next cycles, one thing that we discussed with José and Dan was to do it in a more open way, involving the whole company and letting not only the sub proposals emerge, but any idea emerge from anyone from the group, and make it more organic. It's challenging when doing a expanding the initiative for more employees and make it more organic. So that's the challenge, because otherwise, if you're doing a small pilot, it might look like uh, uh, yet decentralized, but with some centralization in some definitions. So they perceive that feasible, applicable, and replicable methodology. And from then, and Jose, I want to hear your perceptions, even in Portuguese, and what are the challenges I can translate to the group. So basically, this is what we did in the pilot so far. Aí eu queria ouvir as percepções tuas, José, Dan, desafios.
Ok.
Você vai traduzir para eles o que a gente vai lá, né?
Traduz, sim.
Assim como a gente colocou no material, Miguel, a percepção é que é uma metodologia aplicável, muito positiva, é, só que ao mesmo tempo de uma mudança de hábito. Algo que a gente já vinha fazendo no grupo, só que é um nível além do que a gente já estava fazendo com o organograma em rede. Porque antes a gente tinha ali uma posição central que direcionava o trabalho, só que agora não, agora a gente está fazendo uma total descentralização. Então, a gente não tem esse membro que é o indicador. Então, a gente consegue ver ali nascer muito protagonismo e, ao mesmo tempo, a gente consegue entender que algumas pessoas preferem estar nos bastidores, acompanhando, ajudando. Então, o desafio vem sendo assim, como transformar isso em um motor que funcione mais e traga mais visibilidade para outras pessoas, que não fique centralizado em 3 ou 4 pessoas e sim esteja no grupo todo, ou se não, não é para ser todo mundo, é para realmente ter ali os catalisadores e os outros vão ficar só apoiando. Acho que esse é um grande ponto, né, Zé?
Isso. E um salto, né? Porque nós estamos exercitando esse modelo em rede, onde as pessoas já vêm lidando com uma distribuição de atividades, já vêm lidando o que a gente chama aqui, né, dos blocos de atividades, elas já vêm tendo esse protagonismo, porque as atividades são muito voltadas para os perfis comportamentais, então é colocar realmente as pessoas certas nos lugares certos com suas atividades, mas no momento em que a gente executa esse piloto, a gente entrega ainda mais protagonismo para essas pessoas que vão se movimentar, que vão se agrupar, que vão se energizar umas às outras, né? E muitas vezes isso pode te incluir ou não, você pode entrar em determinados pontos da entrega ou não, então é um outro nível de distribuição de trabalho, é um piloto que vem trabalhando, que vem mostrando para nós o, é, é, o quão, não árduo, né? Mas o quão grande ainda é a trajetória que nós precisamos exercitar para que a gente consiga chegar num momento onde nós vamos ter uma rede amplamente distribuída, amplamente autocrática, vamos dizer assim, elas mesmas vão tomar as decisões, elas mesmas vão propor, elas mesmas vão argumentar, elas mesmas sempre ter ali um personagem, né? Uma pessoa tocando dando o ritmo, né, para as outras, é realmente um salto grande e vem sendo bem rico. O trabalho, o desenvolvimento que o time do Dan vem tendo nesse piloto.
To synthesize what Dan and Jose said, basically they were already starting to work in a decentralized way, and the NFM project and the pilot demanded the next step on on behavioral change when collaborating in a decentralized way, because they were used even working in squad. You have a reference, you have a leader, you have the leader of the pod, and in that sense, making the employees more protagonists of their projects and proposing different things was a challenging thing, but they have a good perception of the results and what it might and the challenge that they have in decentralizing more and giving more autonomy, more protagonism to the employees. So basically, that's the challenge that they have, and not having only a reference and having catalysts emerging in a more organic way from the network. So basically, that's what they were telling us here. Zane, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I
Zane.
had like a question. It's saying much of the work happened offline, so the channel did not reflect the real level of participation or
Mhm.
decentralized work. Does it mean that work doesn't happen if it's offline, or what was meant by that?
That they mainly use the channels that they have on the company because they not didn't they are not using Slack, and Slack does not reflect all the all the interaction that they had. So probably
But
for a yeah.
yeah, but that doesn't mean that the decentralized work didn't happen or there was no participation. It was just that it was harder to track it through the Slack. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a super interesting exercise because the team all along were given some very basic instructions about the AC framework, right? They wanted to see like what emerges organically with those basic instructions. And what emerged was very interesting because there were some aspects of it, right, that were different than how we are applying Network First within the Network First Manifesto community. But at the same time, some of the core elements were there, like submitting proposals, voting for proposals, catalyzing the projects, right? It just somehow it was embedded into this existing structure they have with the squad, and it was a single squad doing this. So there were some issues around network effects. But yeah, it's great job, Miguel, and the Odilon team, Jose and Dan. I look forward to seeing how this scales across the company and what other lessons learned we can get from this.
I had a question. Did you notice any differences of the quality of the outputs on how it was before you tried the pilot and after? Did you notice any differences there?
Eu vou fazer a pergunta para vocês, porque aí vocês respondem diretamente. Se vocês perceberam alguma diferença na qualidade das contribuições dos colaboradores no projeto.
Sem dúvidas, acho que a gente percebeu dos colaboradores, Miguel, que vestiram essa camisa do projeto e se sentiram mais livres para contribuir, sem passar por essa figura do líder, tendo a mesma importância dentro do projeto, é, eu senti que eles perceberam que eles tinham mais espaço para propor. Por exemplo, a gente saiu ali de um acompanhamento simples para uma planilha super elaborada com cruzamento de dados. A gente sentiu que a pessoa olhou e falou: não, essa identidade não está legal, deixa eu fazer uma identidade nova que traduz o tamanho desse projeto. Acho que abriu espaço para iniciativa, isso é muito legal.
That it opened space for people feeling more at ease with proposing different things or being more proactive with building spreadsheets and the project identity. So those things emerge from directly from the team without the necessity of the leader defining what would be the task, and they saw difference in that. Those who embrace the project, was not everyone in the same at the same level, really were more proactive and more at ease in proposing different things.
Isso. E para mim também, Miguel, que eu venho percebendo nas interações, é o fortalecimento das conexões entre o time mesmo. Então, outras pessoas foram sendo vistas como referências em determinado ponto da entrega, né? Então, isso acaba levantando, isso, se nós vamos validar isso via ONA, mas a gente percebe um aumento pelo menos no dia a dia, né? De interações entre as pessoas do time e provavelmente pessoas que alguém respondeu lá como referência sobre determinada pergunta da ONA, nós vamos verificar que essa referência pode até ser que altere para outra, por conta realmente desse aumento da conexão entre o time mesmo.
Jose is saying that they have strengthened the connections on the team, and some people that were not necessarily reference and people were not reaching out to them are now referenced. So probably if we do a small ONA after the pilot, we have a different connection between the team. They are perceiving that already, that they're not necessarily seeking only the leader, they are seeking each other on the team to do the tasks, and that's a difference that they are perceiving through the methodology.
Great. Miguel,
Interesting.
I know that Brian had their hand raised, but just want to make sure that we allocate enough time to the proposals, because I know that there are several people that want to propose specific projects if the new setup gets ratified, and yeah, just want to make sure that we have enough time for that, so we can meet the quorum at least, reducing it to 15 people.
Okay, very good.
So yeah, suggest then, I guess, that those who have additional questions for the team can flow those through Miguel and have that conversation directly with him. Miguel, do you, if you would like to, do you want to go ahead and post your email in the Slack?
Yeah, for
excuse
sure.
me, in the chat, so that people can do that? Okay. I think that looked great. I mean, I've got a dozen questions that I could ask right now, but Francisco's right. We're halfway through at the time, so we need to make some room. Thanks. Thank you guys for joining today and sharing your experience with us. This is very instructive.
Yeah, congratulations, Miguel and the team. I've been involved in some of the conversation with Miguel, and it's a super exciting project. And yeah, thanks a lot to Odilon really for putting all these resources at the disposal of the community to test this approach, which is a very emergent, and it takes a lot of courage and bravery to be the first to implement something. So congratulations. So maybe for the poll, what I'm going to do, I'm going to launch the poll here. Let me just make sure that the text looks good. Yeah, should be fine. So, okay. Can you please confirm if you can see the poll on your screen? Again, just for those of you that join a little bit later, the proposal here is using the monthly network convergences to propose and ratify new Network First projects. And once ratified, the projects will be listed on the Network First Manifesto website, allowing anyone in the network to discover and join them. And the quorum will be updated from 25 members to 15 members, so it's easier to achieve during the convergences. And again, sorry for the mix-up today with the Zoom link, because we had 175 people confirmed for the meeting, but I think 80% of them were not able to find the Zoom link on the invite. And then, once ratified, each project catalyst takes full responsibility for leading and stewarding the project, and participation remains open and voluntary. So that's kind of like the proposal.
Francisco, one clarifying question for this. So the section that this is going to be listed on the NFM website, is it going to be visible just to NFM members, or will it be visible?
No, it will be visible to anybody, and anybody can join any project. So before we have done on Slack the restriction that only people that had signed up on the Network First Manifesto website and on the database were able to join those projects. But now, because those projects are available on the website and the Catalyst is fully responsible for what they do in the project, they are more than welcome to invite non-NFM members as well. There will be an advantage of the new system if ratified. Let me see where we are right now. So
all of that is in keeping with the intent of trying to do things in such a way that it allows NFM to go as viral as possible.
Yes. We just need 2 more votes to ratify the proposal. It's perfectly fine to vote against or abstain as well, right? Okay, we got it already. So we're above we got 17 now, so that's above the 15 threshold. So thank you everyone for your vote. Okay, so basically just to test this, I know that some of the members here have specific proposals for projects that they wanted to propose and ratify. I have 2 on my own, and I want to clarify that if anybody had a project that was not archived or deleted before the Slack workspace deletion, more than happy to reflect those on the website since they were previously ratified by the community. Just reach out to me anytime, and we can reflect it on the website. Okay. In my case, one of the projects that I was catalyzing on the Slack that got deleted was the Network First company pilots. So that is the first project that I wanted to propose here, so that we have, again, like a forum to, monitor projects that are going on with Network First, have a forum to share best practices. In no way this is intended to basically have any kind of like monopoly over the the ability to launch Network First pilots, right? But I think that I have to end this poll here. Okay, sorry, I'm just getting used to work with this. Okay, and now I can launch the other one. So this would be an example of a proposal for a project, right? Again, as you go through it, the proposal is to establish Network First pilots as a global forum to launch, experiment with, and share pilots applying the Network First methodology in real-world context. The forum will enable members to exchange learning, document experiences, and collectively advance the practical application of Network First principles. So if it gets ratified, then it will be reflected on the projects section of the Network First Manifesto website, and it will, anybody can join there.
And so you'll be the catalyst for that project.
I'll be the catalyst for this project. And again, like in no way this is intended to exercise any type of centralization or monopoly. Please feel free to launch separate projects to do Network First pilots outside this initiative. And we're more than encouraged to apply this in your organization or other organizations outside this community as well.
And Francisco, do you anticipate whether or not that particular project will be one that will be focused on any kind of monetization, or is it too early to know for that particular project?
We will not pursue any monetization from the project itself. But again, like if any of the consultants want to implement this as a paid methodology to any of the other clients, like more than welcome to do so. But we will not request any monetization from the project as a catalyst, right? And another thing that will be reflected on the form to join is that all the contributions basically that are done by members as part of the forum will just go to the commons. It will be a public domain, right? And the goal here is not to basically control any IP ownership or to place any restriction, but the opposite, to kind of like create a global forum for companies that are piloting this methodology to experiment, right, and learn in the process. We have right now 12 votes. I think we need 3 more to go to the next one. There is anybody, and again, there is anybody that would like to abstain or against, and you have a different ideas, please, I would love to hear your feedback as well. And like just do this as interactive as possible.
I think one of the things that I'd like to just say as a clarification for some of the conversation that we had during last convergence is we did get into a little bit of conversation about our exploration of governance, and I think our idea right now is that governance and exploration don't really go together that well. So what we're trying to, I think, encourage everybody to do is to be a little bit experimental. And I think Francisco's proposal here is a little experimental too, right? He's trying to encourage like different kinds of pilots to go on with no constraint about like how you conduct your pilot. Like nobody told Miguel how to do his pilot, right?
Exactly.
So, but we do want to talk about it so that we can share learnings after the fact. So no governance, just sharing. So, just kind of to put that lens on it and connect that back to the conversation we had last time.
Yeah, the idea here really is just to look for the minimum structure that is needed to enable people to launch projects that they want to launch and work on it, right? In the moment that we enter, and right now, the way that minimum structure looks like is that people sign it on the website, they get invited to the convergence, and we figure out things from here in the convergence, right? In the moment that we start putting energy into how to govern the process versus really work on projects and put this out of the community is when we start having tensions. Katarina, you want to add something?
I just want to say that, I think that this is very useful to share the knowledge and experiences of pivoting this, right? And then also Miguel maybe can join and answer all these questions that we are having right now in that meeting, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like Miguel with Odilon will be involved in the Network First pilots as they were involved in the previous project. But again, it's just to
Just to
have
share
affordable.
like experience as well,
Exactly.
right?
Feel free to reach out to Miguel directly, and we'll also have an opportunity at these sessions. Maybe because I know that Ivana wants to. So thank you all for basically ratifying this proposal. I know that Ivana wanted to launch to propose a project as well. So Ivana, why don't you propose yours, and then like I will propose my second one, and give a space if anybody wants to add any additional proposals.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, sure. So hi everyone. So thanks for jumping in. So I want to take a couple minutes just to share something that I've been looking into regarding our digital footprint for NFM. So a quick project that we're kicking off to fix this. So recently I ran an AI readiness assessment on our public presence, and the takeaway was pretty clear. So while people and AI models can they get the gist of our thesis and themes and what we do, but our actual utility gets lost in the digital world. So right now, let's say if an external partner or someone who wants to be a potential member, is using an AI agent trying to help them, trying to find a community like this, and it tries to answer a straightforward question like, what exactly do we do? What do we work with? What do we work on? Which project fits their specific needs? They kind of hit a wall in the digital space. So the information isn't structured in a way that makes it easy for AI assistants to parse, compare, and recommend us as a community. So since we do so much discovery, so a lot of the discovery is moving through automated tools and search agents these days, and we just want to make sure that we're not, accidentally making ourselves invisible. So this project's really just about, launching. It's a discoverability project. So over the next little while, what we want to do is just clean up our digital presence, add clear summaries, a solid FAQ section, better use case pages on the NFM site, and structured data behind the scenes. So that way AI assistants can, read us better and people can find us better. The people that we want to be joining our community can find us better. So that's what it's all about. Thanks, everyone.
Anybody have questions for Ivana before we go to post her poll?
I just want to say I love the idea, and I think it's a great way to use technology really to make the Network First movement more visible out there. And please, always feel free to post on LinkedIn and tag the Network First Manifesto page. Anytime that you tag the Network First Manifesto page, I'll amplify it with the accounts and as much as possible, right? But I think
I've actually noticed, because I ran this report only like a couple weeks ago, and the score was a bit lower. And then this week I ran it again just before I hopped on this call, and it increased by like 20 points. So the tagging actually does work.
I think Michal wanted to had a question there. Want to add something, Michal? Sorry if I interrupted you there.
No, sorry. I think it's great ideas, but I'm sorry. I'm just a question outside of Ivana's proposal, but just when voting, I just don't know. And maybe there's someone else new like me, so they're also not sure. But when voting, does that mean that I want to join the project, or does that mean that I think the project has room on the manifesto? What does it mean?
Is the second
one. Okay, I wanted to make sure I understand. Thank you.
Just to clear up that process again for everybody. So once we vote a project into existence by ratifying it, Francisco's going to put it on the webpage, and he's going to put the name of the catalyst there with some contact information. And so those who are interested in joining, it's on them to approach the catalyst and say, I'm interested. I'm going to tell Ivana I'm interested right now.
Yeah,
because it's very much adjacent to the narrative project that we had going before. In fact, I think it's maybe a little upstream of the narrative project. So I think we ought to do this one first and get some good traction on this. And then I think it'll naturally lead us into being able to produce the outcomes that we were looking for from the narrative project.
Yeah.
Great. So you should see already the poll for voting there. I shared the description you shared with me on WhatsApp, Ivana.
Yep.
Thank you for asking it. I was just going to say thank you, Mikkel, for asking that question, because I think there probably were more other people that were also wondering what the plan was there. So
thank you for answering.
We want informed voting.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Okay, let me see how this looks like. Okay, we got 11 so far. Just need 12, we need 3 more. And again, it's important. If anybody has any concerns about any project, any suggestion for improvement, any better framework or feedback for the person that is proposing the project, like let's just discuss it here as much as possible, right?
And just to re-clarify the same question I asked Francisca, I'll put to Ivana. Ivana, are you expecting any kind of monetization off of this project at all? Or do you see this as just, we're going to do this and then we're going to share it back to the commons, we're going to communicate to others, and it's all sort of for the common community good, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, as of now, it's just kind of for the common community good, so people to find our community, to find our community easier if they're using an AI assistant to find a community like us. So
yeah, I recommend as well. I'll send you a form to reflect this on the website. But if you use like a Google form for people to join, it's a very good opportunity to make sure that you set expectations around monetization, IP, so that we set as clear expectations possible when people are joining the initiatives, right? That's one of the key lessons learned as well from the previous projects that we launched in the community. I think we just need one more vote to ratify Ivana's proposal. If there is anybody that hasn't voted yet or wants to, again, it's perfectly fine to vote against or abstain, but we need the quorum to move forward to the next proposal. I know we are a few people here today, but sorry, my fault for handling the Zoom. But is there anybody that hasn't voted yet that would like to express any concern or any? I think there are only 3 people that haven't voted yet. So just wanted to make sure. Maybe Dan Jose, are the instructions clear regarding the? I know that sometimes English can be a little bit complicated. Miguel, do you want to translate just in case? Make sure that they can see the voting.
Basicamente, o que ele. Olha, eu falando em inglês de novo. Basicamente, a ideia é que o pessoal traga uma proposta e aí sim e na hora vota na hora, né? As pessoas podem pré-reunião deixar a proposta disponível, né? Mas é um teste que a gente está fazendo via Zoom, pelo tamanho da comunidade também, né? Ou seja, muita gente, e aí deixar a execução mais livre, né? O catalisador lá que vai organizar quem pode participar e a ideia agora é que a participação seja aberta mesmo, né? Não só membros do que assinaram o NFE, mas qualquer interessado pode se manifestar para participar e se candidatar para participar de um projeto, né?
And the issue as well here is that I cannot vote myself. Okay, I should be able to vote now. Okay, now we got it. Perfect. So we got it 15, and now congratulations, Ivana, on ratifying the proposal. So we can now. I want to submit one more proposal, which I think that can be an important one. It's like basically as we've been running the Network First pilot within my own company within CTS. One of the best practice we have identified is that when setting initial projects within a community that doesn't have previous experience working together on a regular basis in a decentralized manner, other than punctual events, launching projects by location is actually quite useful because it mitigates the problems, the issues with time zones, with language, with culture, right? So, for example, in CTS, we have some projects that have to do with specific features and initiatives, but there are two key projects which are super active, which is one for LATAM, ONA in LATAM, and the other is for ONA in the NAMIA region, right? So that made me think, like, how can we leverage the lesson learned? I thought that I would like to propose the creation of Network First Silicon Valley chapter. So I think that these online convergences that we have, they really reflect the true nature of the Network First movement. And I would love to see a version of Network First that is as structured as possible and as open as possible moving forward, independently of whatever form of expression the network takes. But I think that there is something like very special as well in like on-site meetings, and that we somehow miss with this meeting. So the idea of launching the Silicon Valley chapter is really just to have an opportunity for those of us that are here in the Bay Area to meet once a month. We can do it like the same day that we had a network convergence meeting here in Palo Alto in the afternoon, and hopefully encourage other people to launch chapter in your respective locations as well. The idea here again is by no means to have a somehow NFM acting as a centralized body that governs multiple chapters. It's perfectly fine to have like different chapters or groups with different names within the same location, or to apply Network First in many different ways across different regions with different formats, right? But I think it's just a easy way to kind of like achieve that on-site synergy that is part of what we've been missing so far. In a way, I'm having like very long conversations every couple of weeks with Brian when he comes here to visit me in Palo Alto, or I go to Pleasanton. But other than that, is more complicated to coordinate. Any questions before I launch that proposal? And again, I would love to encourage all of you that I know, while Giancarlo, Michal, I know that you are very passionate about networks and you operate within regions that have a lot of people that are interested in this. I think this could be an interesting format as well. So this is the proposal. You should be able to see it now.
One of the things that we were talking about in our last convergence was what is this container for having conversations that are kind of across projects, and while we're going to try to do the bulk of that here, it's good, I think, for people to get together locally, particularly within language, and have some of those conversations, and then bring those thoughts back to this space, and share what's been on everybody's mind. That gives us all food for more food for thought, right? All about trying to create different angles of discussion and different kinds of connections, not relying purely on the project to handle all of the interaction that we want to have with each other.
Yeah, and thank you. So we got the proposal ratified. And I think it was a pretty productive session. Is there anybody else that would like to propose a project to be reflected on the website, or maybe did anybody have any project that was active on the Slack channel that would like to have it reflected on the website?
And I would just say, if you don't know right now, that's okay.
The only thing that was in my mind from the practical standpoint was that people look at the website maybe once a year. Like, how are you going to manage the notifications and everything? Is that through the email or how
that's a great question. So that the idea, imagine that you are a person that submits a proposal here, it gets ratified, and now the project is reflecting on the website, right? You can send me whatever form of contact you want there. You can set up a Google Forms or any other type of form. You can set up your LinkedIn contact, and then you get notified as a project when people join. You can notify as a catalyst when people join, and you have full responsibility how you manage it from that. So there is no need for an administrator to be working in the background to notify you any time somebody joins your Slack project or something like that.
Right. Because they'll reach out to you directly, Sane.
Does it make sense, Sane?
It doesn't make sense, but I think I'm joking.
The idea is to distribute the administrative load,
I'm
right?
joking.
So instead of
I mean, like, I think you didn't got like a question. What I was thinking was that just because you put a project on a website doesn't mean that people will gonna notice it. You know, they might look at it once a year.
That's true, and that's why, like any any help from any member in giving visibility to the project page once it's set up on LinkedIn and anywhere else, it goes a long way. I'm going to include it on as many newsletters as possible, as many posts as possible. But again, like it's just a collective effort.
Okay, so you will gonna spam through the web newsletters. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not going to, just to be clear, right? I'm just using the existing database for people to join the network convergence. Sometimes we have a punctual thing like this. For example, people don't have access to the link, to the Zoom link, I have to send an email, right? And other than that, just to share the recording of the convergences. But other than that, I'm not planning to send like just spam people on the database so they join the projects on a regular basis or anything like that.
I think
no. Okay.
one of the things that we haven't thought through fully yet is exactly how much we want to use LinkedIn posts to amplify project activity. But it would be up to the project catalyst if they want to create a post and push that out to their network. If you are connected to a lot of people in NFM and they're looking at your LinkedIn posts, then they would see it that way as well. So again, the catalyst is kind of free to do that if you want.
I think that in what situation we are running into, and maybe that's actually good and serving a good purpose for the NFM, is that if in past within the NFM that a word spreading happened, and now it's kind of vice versa. If there would be a catalyst, he would kind of try to advertise NFM because probably he would put all his project into his existing network, and that's how people could find out about what is NFM. Before that, he didn't have to do that because there was no advertisement or nothing needed because it was already in Slack. So that's how we can spread the word of NFM.
Yeah, please, any post that you put, any comment, I really appreciate all of you. Weil has been doing an amazing work advertising Network First in the GCC region. Congratulations, but really, I mean, like I know that not all of you are super active on LinkedIn or other social media networks. I'm doing my best with the reach that I have, which is limited. But really, any post and any mention goes a long way in creating awareness, right? But I think it was overall a productive session. Thanks a lot for your patience as we go through this process, right? I know it's not easy to iterate formats and navigate, but I appreciate all your support, and I look forward to seeing how this new setup works. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back to the drawing board here in these convergences and try something else, right? Again, the goal here is just keep trying.
I just wanted to clarify the Slack. It was completely removed, or it was just paused?
Yeah, the Slack was removed again. Like I know that some people here actually like working on Slack, and within CTS, for example, we actually closed the Slack and started using WhatsApp, which is actually being more effective for managing the Network First projects. If anybody in the community feels strongly about Slack being a good workspace, the only thing you have to do is to submit a proposal, get it ratified, and then people can join the Slack through that project, and that's it, and we can reactivate the collaboration there. But again, that is the catalyst is taking fully responsibility for managing that Slack and what happens there. One of the challenges here is that just setting it by default the Slack as the mail of the community, it plays on responsibility, even legal responsibility on my person that it takes a lot of work to maintain. So I think it's something that should come from a new project if somebody feels strongly about it. Same for WhatsApp, Discord, or any other platform.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole conversation about future tools for NFM that we don't have time to have today, but we know that there are ideas circulating about that, and we're open to talking more about that at a later time. We are right at time today, so I wanted to thank everybody. I know a bunch of people had to drop, but thanks for everybody that stuck with us all the way through to the hour. And we'll look forward to seeing you all in a month and potentially hearing from you in other ways in between. So have a great day and a great week.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, guys.
Everyone.
Thanks. Good seeing you all.
Bye.
Good seeing you too.